Good afternoon and welcome to this episode of Church on Sundays. I'm Dave Sheridan. Today's processional music was the opening bars from Mahler's Fifth Symphony, a really good trumpet call tune. Today's reading will be from the Book of Rand, and here is an excerpt from Ayn Rand's Atlas Shrugged. "What is morality?" she asked. "It's the judgment to distinguish right and wrong, vision to see the truth, courage to act upon it, dedication to that which is good, integrity to stand by the good at any price." Today's podcast is dedicated to the idea of that which is good. In the engineering world, we use an acronym, RAGAGEP, which stands for Recognized and Generally Accepted Good Engineering Practices. It's our version of a peer review process used by scientists and mathematicians for journal publications. For an engineering practice to be good, it's been through the gauntlet, starting with an industry trade group or government agency proposing a set of standards, usually an answer to some issue or event, then following it through a review process for applicability and onward into an industry practice. And in the chemical engineering world, there are many good engineering practices coming from API or the American Petroleum Institute, NFPA or the National Fire Protection Association, ASME or the American Society for Mechanical Engineers, as well as from recognized federal agencies like OSHA and DOT. So, to be a moral engineer, I must be dedicated to that which is good. In the case of our firm, we design chemical bulk tanks for factories, and to do it morally, we need to ensure that the RAGAGEP is our framework, particularly for bulk tanks, several of the API standards. Here's my point. Much like a clever podcaster, I chose a controversial trade group, the American Petroleum Institute, because I knew that it would drive a choice between an engineering standard which is known to be good, but was born of a trade group currently under duress. What is one to do? Well, the other part of being dedicated to the good is having the integrity to stand by the good at any price. A good engineer should stay above the fray, as my friend Jimmy Hoke would say, and in the case of being forced into making a choice by the herd, refuse the commission no matter what the professional and reputational cost. In honor of our friends to the north, all Canadian professional engineers take an oath to act morally and professionally. Each state in the U.S. has a similar oath, but what I find interesting is the Canadians consummate this process with a ring ceremony. And one can find Canadian engineers wearing their iron pinky ring throughout their careers, in part as a reminder of their dedication to good engineering practices. This week, our goal was to introduce the concept of morality and its relevance to industry and the engineering behind it. From my perspective, most people are moral from the standpoint of right and wrong, or following some concept of God's 10 Commandments as spoken through Moses. But morality is also about dedication to that which is good. And out in the professions, the good is a hurdle that must be fought for and proven to be true by man's reasoning mind. We'll see you next week on Church on Sundays. And that was The Trumpet Shall Sound by George Friedrich Handel. And today is his 340th birthday. See you next week.